In my past life, Shen Xingji went missing on the battlefield. I searched for him for 2 years, and finally found him. Unfortunately, he had lost his memory, and there was a female healer named Lu Yiyi by his side taking care of him. I forcibly took him back to the capital, brought in all the imperial physicians to treat him, and finally restored his memory. He honored our engagement and married me. But on our wedding day, Lu Yiyi committed suicide by taking poison. Shen Xingji didn't show it on his face, but he hated my guts. We tortured each other for a lifetime. Before he died, he told me, "If there is a next life, I beg you to let Yi and me be together." I just won't. Reliving this life, I simply won't let that happen. Before Shen Xingji died, he told me, "If there is a next life, I beg you to let Yi and me be together." He even hoped to be buried with Yi after death. Yi, Lu Yi, that female healer who stayed by his side when he lost his memory. That woman who took poison and killed herself on our wedding day. Lu Yi only stayed with Shen Xingji for 2 years, yet she made him pine for her for a lifetime. Then, what do I count for? Shen Xingji and I were childhood sweethearts, a young couple who knew and accompanied each other for decades. I bore his children and managed the household, and in the end, I just got this one sentence in return. "I beg you to let us be." Bullshit, dream on. No way. Lu Yi's grave is in the west of the city. Ignoring my children's objections, I dragged Shen Xingji's corpse straight to the mass grave in the east of the city, leaving it to be devoured by wild dogs. Zone East, 1 West. Even if you are dead, you too can't be together. Didn't you want to be buried together? Well, I am just not going to grant your wish. If you have the guts, come find me in my dreams. Even if you become a ghost, I'll still beat you to death. Their son, Shen Shuju, followed behind. Seeing his father's miserable state, he wailed, "Mom, what are you doing? How can you not let Dad have any peace even in death?" It is him. He doesn't want me to have an easy life even after he is dead. Tell me, why did he have to say that right before he died? Wasn't he trying to make me miserable on purpose? He won't let me live in peace, so why should I let him rest in peace? I turned around and rolled my eyes at Shen Shuju. "One more word out of you, and I'll send you to see your dad." That scared him into shutting his mouth immediately. My daughter Shen Xinger was also crying and whining, asking why I was so heartless that I wouldn't even fulfill Dad's final wish. "You've already hogged Dad for a lifetime. Why can't you let him be with his true love after he dies?" The children I raised with my own hands were questioning why I couldn't just let their father be with another woman. This pair of white-eyed wolves really did take after Shen Xingji's ways. I slaved away for the Marquise's manor my entire life, bearing children for Shen Xingji, only to end up with this fate. Even my own flesh and blood won't stand by my side. My entire life seems like nothing but a joke. Unable to catch my breath, I passed out. When I opened my eyes again, I had returned to the day I found Shen Xingji, outside a thatched cottage in the valley. "Princess," the scout said, "General Shen is staying inside." Maid Zissou stammered. "Besides General Shen, it seems there is another woman there." I've actually returned to this day. The woman Zissou spoke of must be Lu Yiyi. In my past life, during the 2 years Shen Xingji was missing, I led troops and fought bloody battles in his stead, only hoping to atone for his guilt with my merits, so that His Majesty would spare Shen Xingji from the punishment of his defeat. But look at him, getting all lovey-dovey with a woman here, living a carefree life. I kicked the front gate open. The guards behind me followed close on my heels, surrounding the thatched hut so tightly that not even a drop of water could leak out. In the yard, Lu Yiyi was drying herbs while Shen Xingji helped her out. The two were so intimate they seemed like a married couple of many years. Seeing me barge in with my men, both of them were startled. Shen Xingji shielded Lu Yiyi behind him and mustered the courage to ask, "Who are you? What gives you the right to barge into our home?" "Your home," I sneered, not answering Shen Xingji. Instead, I carefully sized up this home of theirs. In my past life, I was in a rush to take Shenxingzhe back to the capital, so I didn't have the mind to pay attention to this courtyard at all. This time, I finally had the chance to take a good look at this small courtyard that Shenxingzhe had longed for his whole life. Nestled against the mountains and near the water, living right by the water, it is truly a fine place, I commented with a serious air. Shenxingzhe lost his patience and loudly demanded to know who exactly I was. Who am I? Shenxingzhe. I am your fiancé Yi Jia. You once said that after the war is over, we would find a beautiful place with scenic mountains and rivers, build a house and live there, just the two of us, working from sunrise to sunset. Who would have thought the house is here, but the person's changed. After I finished saying all this, Shenxingzhe and Lu Yiyi were both stunned. Lu Yiyi's eyes turned red immediately, looking at Shenxingzhe tearfully. A man, you actually already have a fiancé? Shenxingzhe shook his head like a rattle drum. Yayi, believe me, I really only love you alone. Even if there is a fiancé, that was in the past. You know, I lost my memory. The two of them were like they were possessed by drama ghosts, suddenly starting to put on a show. All lovey-dovey, I've got goosebumps all over my body, and Zissou looks completely disgusted too. Enough. Shenxingzhe, I interrupted their deep gaze at each other. You've been away from home for 2 years. It is time to come back with me. I won't go back. I am not the Shenxingzhe you are talking about. My name is a man, and I won't be separated from Yiyi. As he said that, he and Lu Yiyi held hands tightly, for fear that I would separate them. Shenxingzhe looked at me as if I were a wicked mother, in-law breaking up a pair of lovebirds. I am way too familiar with that look, in my past life. That is exactly how he looked at me for a whole lifetime. That is not up to you. I slashed through the swing in the courtyard with a single strike. Either come back with me, or the two of you die here together. You'd better think it over carefully, Shenxingzhe. No. I should call you a man, right? A man. Think it through yourself. I raised an eyebrow at him, my eyes full of disdain. The guards also held their blades against both of their necks. Even in this second life, I am definitely taking him back to the capital to marry him. This time, it is not for love, mainly because his family is really rich, powerful, and loaded. I can't just say no to the good life, right? Plus, breaking the two of them up and playing the wicked woman is so satisfying. Me men have already smashed everything in the room that could be smashed. Shenxingzhe was outnumbered and afraid I'd hurt Lu Yiyi. He gritted his teeth and agreed to go back to the capital with me. I can go back with you, but you can't lay a finger on Yiyi. I rolled my eyes at him. Got it. A man. My teasing voice made Zissou giggle, while the other subordinates held back their laughter, their shoulders twitching. General Shen, who once dominated the battlefield, has now actually become a man, the herb dryer. Ridiculous. So funny laughing makes me feel awful. In both his past and present lives, he would rather be a man, the herb dryer. Lu Yiyi, meanwhile, gazed longingly at the swing I had chopped to pieces. That was the swing a man made for me with his own hands. With tears in her eyes, she collapsed into Shenxingzhe's arms, crying. Before Shenxingzhe could speak, I reassured her. It is just a swing he made with his own hands, isn't it? I have another one, also made personally by your man. When we return to the capital, I'll have someone send it to you. Mine is even a bit more exquisite than this one. You won't be losing out. When your A-man hadn't lost his memory yet, his family was rich. He even had that swing of mine inlaid with gold. When the sunlight poured down, it glittered with gold, looking real nice. I'll give it to you sometime. The more I spoke, the paler Lu Yi's face got, and the darker Shenxingzhe's face became. I continued speaking. Even this thatched hut of yours. It is something your man told me about before. 1 house, 2 people, 3 meals, 4 seasons, just seeking a corner of the world to live quietly. So, Miss Yi, a man's mouth is a lying ghost. Just listen for fun. But whatever you do, Don't take it seriously. Lu Yiyi had already come out of Shen Xingji's embrace. She looked at me, then at Shen Xingji, and finally turned her face away, paying no more attention to Shen Xingji. She was angry. Shen Xingji looked at me in confusion, mixed with a bit of anger. I have long forgotten the events of the past. Why must you be so aggressive, miss? I shrugged nonchalantly. So what? It is not like I lied, right, Zissou? Zissou saw my signal and immediately continued. Who in the capital doesn't know that my princess and General Shen are childhood sweethearts, a perfect match? Even this engagement was personally bestowed by the emperor. If General Shen hadn't suddenly gone missing, they would have been married long ago. Maybe they'd even have children by now. With that, Lu Yiyi straight up ignored Shen Xingji. The two of them were in the same carriage, yet they sat on opposite sides, not saying a word to each other. She thought she was the only one, but never expected to be just a replacement. Shen Xingji, this time I am going to see just how unbreakable your love really is. Zissou sat in the same carriage with me. She asked me what was wrong, why I was suddenly treating Shen Xingji like this. Princess, didn't you used to like General Shen the most? I closed my eyes to rest. You said it yourself. That was in the past. Now that Shen Xingji has that female physician by his side, there is no place for me anymore, Zissou asked cautiously again. Then, Princess, do you still want to marry General Shen? Marry him? Why wouldn't I? Although I hold the noble rank of Commandery Princess, my parents are both dead. This title is nothing more than an empty name bestowed by His Majesty to appease our family. Aside from sounding nice, it is completely useless. After Shen Xingji marries me, he will inherit the title, and at that time, I will be the rightful lady of the Marquise's manor. Holding the Marquis Manor's money in one hand, and its power in the other, is way more useful than being this commandery princess. Life is just getting too comfortable. I couldn't care less about Shen Xingji and that Lu Yiyi loving each other to death. Even without Lu Yiyi, there'd be a Wang Yiyi, a Li Yiyi, a Li Yiyi. This time, I am going to live a good life. Shen Xingji went back to the Dingyuan Marquis Manor with me. Old Madame Shen was already waiting outside the door with a bunch of servants waiting on her. She looked the picture of wealth. Seeing Shen Xingji get off the carriage, old Madame Shen was a mess of snot and tears, muttering incessantly. My son, where have you been these past 2 years? Mother has been worried to death about you, praying to the Bodhisattva every day, begging for your safe return. Mother wishes she could have traded her own life for your chance at survival. Such love for her son was truly moving, enough to make anyone who heard it shed tears. But unexpectedly, Shen Xingji pushed old Madame Shen away with a look of indifference. Old Madame Shen was stunned, looking at me in surprise. Jia, what is wrong with Xingji? I cupped my hands in greeting. Old Madame, Xingji has lost his memory. He is called Man now. Man. Hearing this name, the old madam burst into tears again. You are the young marquis of our Dingyuan Marquis Manor. How can you be called Man? Even our servants don't have such tacky names. I dug my fingernails in so hard they almost broke. I simply couldn't hold back my laughter. Seeing this, Zissou hurriedly handed a handkerchief over. I covered my face pretending to cry with emotion, but was actually wiping away tears of laughter. It wasn't until the old madam finished crying that she noticed a girl beside Shen Xingji. Is this the maid who has been taking care of you these past 2 years? Good child, this old woman thanks you. As she spoke, she also had the old maid servant beside her take out a bag of silver and hand it to Lu Yiyi. Lu Yiyi's hand froze there, unsure whether to accept it or not. Shen Xingji slapped away that bag of silver, roaring, What maid? This is my sweetheart, the one I pledged my life to. At this, the gazes of everyone around gathered on us, some even sizing me up and down. Who in the capital doesn't know about the engagement between Shen Xingji and me? Old Madame Shen's gaze also swept back and forth between Lu Yiyi and me, her expression gradually turning ugly. She grabbed Shen Xingji's wrist, her tone severe. Xingji, did losing your memory damage your brain too? Yijia is your fiancé. Your engagement was personally bestowed by His Majesty. How can you be allowed to act so recklessly? But Shen Xingji shook off her hand and said coldly, I don't remember any engagement. I only know that the person I love now is Yi, and I am going to marry her. Hearing this, a blush rose on Lu Yi's face. I urged old Madam Shen, Old Madam, this isn't the place to talk. Let's go back before discussing anything. Right? Right. Right. GR is still the thoughtful one. Seeing more and more people gathering to watch the show, old Madam Shen nodded and told us to enter the manor first. When passing by me, Shen Xingji rolled his eyes. He gripped Lu Yi's hand tightly, as if afraid she would disappear. I didn't care and made a gesture of invitation. After you, Marquise Aman. Just like in my past life, Shen Xingji refused to recover his memory. Not only did he refuse to recover his memory, but he also refused to marry me. He said having Lu Yi by his side was enough. He didn't want to inherit the Marquis manor, nor did he want great wealth or status. Old Madam Shen looked at me pleadingly, hoping I would go and try to persuade him, but I looked left and right, simply refusing to take the hint. In my past life, I went to the palace and used the military merits and favors I had saved up to beg His Majesty to allow an imperial physician to treat Shen Xingji, restoring his memory. Yet, I was hated by him for a whole lifetime. This time, I absolutely won't do something that just leaves a mess on my hands. I curtsied to old Madam Shen. It is good enough that he came back alive since Xingji himself doesn't want to remember. We should respect his wishes. Upon hearing this, Shen Xingji looked at me in surprise. Lu Yi, on the other hand, looked completely hostile. Old Madam Shen wasn't happy hearing that. That won't do. Xingji is the young marquis of our Dingyuan Marquis Manor. What is this supposed to mean now? Shen Xingji bowed slightly. If I can't marry Yi in this life, then I don't want to be this marquis anyway. I don't want to be some marquis. I just want to roam the Jianggu with Yi and be a pair of immortal lovers. Is that so? Looking at that Lu Yi's expression, she doesn't look like someone willing to live in poverty. The golden splendor of the Marquise's manor still dazzled her eyes. Even the tea, serving maids' clothes were more expensive than hers. I don't believe she didn't get any ideas. Old Madam Shen slammed the table. That won't do. Now everyone knows you've come back alive. His Majesty granted the marriage engagement long ago. If you don't marry Yi Jia, you won't be able to inherit this title of Marquis Dingyuan. You can't let the Marquise's manor bear such consequences just for your own happiness. Shen Xingji still stiffened his neck, but Lu Yi tugged at his sleeve. Clearly Shen Xingji had misunderstood her intention. He actually comforted Lu Yi. If I cannot marry you as my wife, I will not be this marquis. Old Madame Shen looked at me, lowering her stance to ask, Jia, is it all right to let Lu Yi marry into the manor as well? Since ancient times, it is normal for men to have 3 wives and 4 concubines. Since you are marrying into the Marquise's manor, you naturally must have the capacity to tolerate others. In my past life, I disagreed, saying that a couple for a lifetime was the right way, and forbid Lu Yi from entering the manor. But this time, I said loudly, Xingji is the Marquise. Helping him take concubines is my duty. I agree to let Miss Lu enter the manor. Old Madam Shen was very satisfied. Jia is sensible after all. I didn't misjudge you. Shen Xingji, however, did not agree and roared, How can Yi be a concubine? I want to marry her as my only wife. Huh? I pretended to be helpless. But our marriage was bestowed by His Majesty. Are you intending to disobey the imperial decree? His Majesty was already dissatisfied with the Dingyuan Marquise's manor because Shen Xingji had suffered a defeat in battle. Now, if he disobeyed the decree and refused to marry me, His Majesty could justifiably punish the Dingyuan Marquise's manor. Anyway, I don't care. Whether the Dingyuan Marquise's manor can handle it or not is not my concern. Sure enough, as soon as old Madam Shen heard this, she got anxious She stood up and scolded Shen Xingji. You don't want to recover your memory, fine. You want to marry this female doctor. I'll allow that too. But your wedding with Yi Jia was bestowed by His Majesty. It concerns the future of the Marquis Manor. And on this, I cannot let you have your way. Shen Xingji held on to Lu Yiyi and said resentfully, I just won't get married. Let's see what you can do to me. Seeing that both sides were red, eyed with anger, I stepped forward to mediate. The wedding is just a formality, something for outsiders to see. As long as Xingji goes through with the ceremony with me to set His Majesty's mind at ease, this whole thing will blow over. Since Xingji isn't willing to let Miss Lu suffer any grievances, he can simply keep Miss Lu outside the manor. I don't think His Majesty would be bored enough to care about how we live our lives after the wedding, right? Besides, it is just a title. I imagine since Miss Lu is a daughter of the Zhonggu, she naturally wouldn't care about such things. These words of mine were generous and reasonable, completely considering things from the perspective of both sides. It sounded like there were absolutely no issues. Old Madame Shen and Shen Xingji thought about it, and both agreed. Lu Yiyi, however, revealed a look of reluctance and regret. The reputation of a mistress kept outside is much worse than that of a concubine. I smiled innocently. Looking at her with a smile, she could only pretend to be generous and nod in agreement. And so, the matter was settled. Shen Xingji would hold the wedding with me, but as soon as it was over, he would leave. He was to live with Lu Yiyi outside the manor. I agreed wholeheartedly. In my past life, I stayed by his side until we were old, yet he constantly despised me for becoming old and faded, calling me calculating and vulgar. Lu Yiyi's youth and beauty were infinitely magnified in his memories. This time, I want Lu Yiyi to stay alive and well, to see if she really won't age, to see if their so-called true love can withstand the test of time and money. On the day of the wedding, Shen Xingji didn't stay the night with me. He went to Lu Yiyi's place that very night. They bought a small courtyard house on the outskirts of the city. Zissou helped me wash up and vented on my behalf. The young Marquis is too unkind, actually leaving the princess all alone on the wedding night. Isn't this making the princess a laughingstock? I shook my head. Let him be. Who cares if he stays here or not? Starting tomorrow, I'll be the rightful Marchioness of the Marquis Manor. Besides, that pair of ungrateful children from my past life also made me realize that Shen Xingji's seed is no good, so there is no need to birth his bloodline. The next day, I woke up early to pay my respects to old Madame Shen. Jia pays respects to mother. I have to go to the palace later to pay my respects to His Majesty and the Empress. She had dark circles under her eyes. It looked like she hadn't slept all night. Seeing me come in, she took my hand, tears streaming down her old face. Child, I know all about what Xingji did last night. Our Marquis Manor has wronged you. After hearing that I was going to the palace to pay my respects, she had a nanny bring over a key and a pile of account books. Child, from now on, the internal affairs of the Marquis Manor are all yours. I am getting old, and I can't manage these things anymore. I knew she was trying to suck up to me so that I wouldn't badmouth the Marquis Manor in front of His Majesty and the Empress. I took the keys and the ledger, saying obediently, since I have married into the Marquis's manor, Xingji and I are grasshoppers on the same rope. I still know what should and shouldn't be said in front of His Majesty. As for Xingji, since he isn't willing to be the young Marquis and insists on supporting himself, I hope you, mother-in-law, will grant his wish and not secretly support him. Old Madame Shen reluctantly said she understood. Actually, even if old Madame Shen secretly gives the two of them money behind my back, it doesn't matter. Anyway, old Madame Shen won't live for another 2 years. Her health was already poor. During the 2 years Shen Xingji was missing, she ruined her health from crying. It is just a matter of these 2 years. This is also why I insisted on marrying Shen Xingji again. Because in another 2 years, the entire Marquise's manor will be mine. Shen Xingji and Lu Yiyi live in a small courtyard in the suburbs. The courtyard is the property of the Marquise's manor, but without the support of the manor, they have to earn their own expenses. Lu Yiyi practices medicine and sells herbs, while Shen Xingji follows behind doing odd jobs. On this day, I brought people to the small courtyard. Shen Xingji stood at the door displeased, asking what I wanted to do. I ignored him and had people move the things into the courtyard, the swing that Shen Xingji made for me in the past. This is the swing I owe Sister Lu. I burned her swing before, so now I am compensating her. Lu Yiyi also walked out when she heard the commotion. Seeing that swing, she was so angry her eyes went round. I raised my hand and explained, "This is inlaid with real gold. If you are ever short on money, pry it off and pawn it. It'll keep you fed for a few months." How could you humiliate us like this? Lu Yiyi actually started wiping away tears. What do you mean by that, sister? I came specifically to pay for the swing, to show my respect. I even bathed and burned incense, and had the maids all dress up before coming over. Exactly. Just to spite them. I told Zissou and the others to dress as extravagantly as possible. If they were short on jewelry or clothes, they just had to go grab them from the storeroom. Everyone is dressed up, like it is the new year. Opulent, magnificent. Even the carriage horses have ruby chains hanging from their foreheads. Besides, Xingji said back then that if you have love, drinking water is enough. You guys have affection and love. I really envy you. I also mimicked her wiping away tears. Unlike me, with nothing but a mansion full of wealth and not a shred of love. I am so pitiful. I said it with such tearful emotion. Being a woman herself, Lu Yiyi immediately realized I was doing this to spite her. But Shen Xingji acted like a fool, actually starting to sympathize with me. Yejia, although I can't give you my heart, I won't take the position of the Marquise's wife away from you. Just consider it my way of making it up to you. If you want to remarry someone else in the future, I am willing to write the divorce papers too. Lu Yiyi was so angry she stomped on him quite a few times, making him howl. I turned around and walked away, rolling my eyes several times. The Marquis Manor is already in my hands now. Who even cares about your divorce papers? I only do two things nowadays. One is living the high life, and the other is making the two of them sick. After learning that Lu Yiyi was practicing medicine in the capital, I deliberately had people introduce her to several wealthy noblewomen, so she could frequently visit those rich households. The riches of the capital finally dazzled her eyes. Lu Yiyi's heart grew wild. She wore flashier and flashier clothes, accumulated more and more jewelry, and completely lost her rustic simplicity. Shen Xingji's former friends also frequently invited him to attend all sorts of banquets and drinking parties. Shen Xingji's heart wavered too. The money they earned wasn't nearly enough to support their lifestyle. Shen Xingji secretly returned to the Marquis Manor to ask the old madam for money. But nowadays the manor's expenses all pass through my hands, and the old madam doesn't have much money of her own. She is also counting on me to care for her in her old age, and see her to her grave, so she didn't want to offend me. She advised Shen Xingji to come find me and bow his head. After all, I am the legitimate head of the Marquis Manor now. With His Majesty backing me up, Shen Xingji hesitantly agreed. When Shen Xingji came looking for me, I was drinking tea in the courtyard. I poured him a cup too. Old tree black tea, a tribute from the south bestowed by His Majesty. Try it, young Marquis. Shen Xingji frowned. This tea must be expensive. Naturally, it is an imperially bestowed tribute. 1,000 gold couldn't buy it. My nonchalant attitude seemed to sting Shen Xingji. He slammed the teacup onto the table. Yejia, how can you be so extravagant and wasteful, recklessly spending my Ho Mansion's money? Your Ho Mansion's money. I rolled my eyes at him. No wades. The fields and shops of the Ho Mansion are all managed by me. The monthly profit is worth far more than 1,000 gold. Why shouldn't I be allowed to drink this? On the contrary, what about you, little Marquis? You were doing just fine staying outside, so why did you think of coming back? Meme, I am the little Marquis of the Hu Mansion. Can't I come back? Shen Xingji stammered for a long time. and finally asked me for money with a lot of bravado. He said that since he is the little Marquis of the Hu Mansion, I ought to give him silver. I sneered at him. If you were being the little Marquise inside the mansion, naturally you could have money. But now you are keeping a mistress outside, yet you still ask me, your lawful wife, for money. Have you no shame? Back then, you said it yourself. You were cutting ties with the Ho Mansion to live your life with your Yi. Something about love is enough to live on. We all heard it loud and clear. Yijia, Shen Xingji flew into a rage from embarrassment. You've been talking all this time just to force me to come back, haven't you? I am telling you, it is impossible. Yi and I are like a celestial couple out there. I won't come back to be a subject under your skirt. It wasn't me who asked you to come back. You came back on your own, scolded me, and now this. That is really funny. I shuddered with disgust. Who cares if you come back? You are really flattering yourself. Shen Xingji didn't get a single penny and left in anger because of me. Shen Xingji failed to get the money, so Lu Yi showed up. Old madam, Xingji went back and said you were bedridden. I, Yi, know a little medicine and recommend myself to perform acupuncture and treat you. I looked at her. The Lu Yi of today follows the rules of etiquette and speaks smoothly. The youthful elegance from when we first met was long gone, replaced by a touch of common vulgarity, dressed in emerald green with a string of big red coral beads draped over her wrist. Ugly. The old madam looked at me, her gaze dark and unreadable. I understood what she meant. She wanted to support Shen Xingji and Lu Yi. Since she doesn't have long to live anyway, I gave her this face. So I took a few steps forward, slipped a jade bangle off my wrist, and put it on her. You are so thoughtful, sister. Take this bangle as a token of my appreciation. I'll be troubling you to treat mother-in-law's illness from now on. A trace of displeasure flashed across Lu Yi's face, but she smiled through gritted teeth. Then thank you, sister. After she left, Zissou followed her and saw with her own eyes that she went into a pawn shop. When she came out, the bangle was gone from her wrist. When Zissou told me, I sneered. I thought she was so high and mighty, treating money like dirt, but it turns out she is just like that. I immediately arranged for someone to keep an eye on Lu Yi and note down the medicine she used when treating the old madam. The old madam's body is already at its limit, barely hanging on thanks to tonics. No matter how miraculous Lu Yi's healing hands are, it is only a matter of time. If she can cure her, fine. If she can't, I can use that to my advantage. Anyway, I don't believe she came solely to treat the old madam's illness. She definitely has some ulterior motives. Leaving Lu Yi's matter aside for now, I need to hurry up and handle a big matter while I have the chance. I picked a child from a side branch of the Shen family and adopted him under my name, Shen Xiaoran. In my past life, I remember this child was the most promising of the Shen family's next generation, but his childhood was miserable. He was the least favored son of a concubine in the family, and suffered a lot. Knowing I wanted to adopt him, his parents were jumping with joy, like they were getting rid of a huge burden, and agreed immediately. I told old Madame Shen about this. Mother-in-law, I just want to keep a child by my side. As a woman yourself, you must understand Jier's pain. I also asked the Empress about this, and it was she who suggested I pick a child from the same clan to adopt. I waved my fan, casually speaking threatening words. She wasn't happy about it, but she had no choice, because the fact that Shen Xingji doesn't return to the Marquis Manor is known by everyone. He lingers with his mistress outside, while my conduct has been flawless. Since the Empress has agreed, I have no reason to stop you. Since you've decided, just do as you say. Shen Xingji's mother agreed. Seeing that I achieved my goal, I didn't stay any longer. On my way out, I bumped into Lu Yi. She was holding a bowl of medicinal soup. She must have brewed it specifically for old Madame Shen. I didn't want to acknowledge her, but she spoke up first. Princess, are you also here to see mother-in-law? Mother-in-law is being looked after by me every day now, and her complexion is much better than before. Commandery Princess, mother-in-law In-law. I looked her up and down with an unfriendly gaze. Lu Yi, this is the Dingyuan Marquis Manor, and I am the madam of the manor. You are just an unpresentable mistress. It is bad enough that you do not kowtow and respectfully call me madam, but you actually dare to call the old madam mother. In-law, are you even worthy of calling her mother-in-law? Zisu immediately stepped forward and scolded her for me. Hurry up and kneel down to call her madam. Lu Yi's face turned from pale to red, mortified and indignant. Yet, she refused to kneel. Won't kneel. Zisu, beat her until she kneels. Zisu was just about to make a move when Shen Xingji rushed over, shouting, You wicked servant! What are you doing? I blocked Shen Xingji's slap and shielded Zisu behind me. Oh ho, isn't this a man? What? Coming to the Marquise's manor to throw your weight around? Seeing her backer had arrived, Lu Yi immediately started tearfully complaining, saying how terribly overbearing and unreasonable I was, that she was just going to deliver medicine to mother-in-law. Yet, I was making things difficult for her. Shen Xingji glared at me angrily. Yijia, how could you make things so difficult for Yi? So I am making things difficult. So what? What can you do to me? I looked at them with disdain. You, Shen Xingji stammered, not expecting me to give him no face at all. Shen Xingji! It was you who didn't want to be the young marquise, so don't come back here to be a nuisance. I am the one in charge of the Marquis Manor now. Allowing Lu Yi back to serve is only out of consideration for my mother, in-law's poor health. Not a single rule can be skipped. You are just a mistress. Since you are supposed to kneel, then kneel down properly for me. Shen Xingji was too spineless to make another peep, so Lu Yi could only hold back her tears, kneel down, and pay her respects to me. I rolled my eyes at them, and waving my fan, I swayed my hips and walked off. So satisfying. With Shen Xingji's mother's consent, Shen Sharan was quickly added to the family tree and adopted under my name. My position as the madam of the Marquise's manor is now even more secure. That day, I was just playing with Shen Sharan when a servant came to report, saying something had happened to the old madam. By the time I rushed to the old madam's place, a mass of maids and servants were kneeling all over the floor. The old madam was exhaling more than inhaling, and looked like she wasn't going to make it. I told Zisu to take my token and quickly go fetch Imperial Physician Lai. Lu Yi had spilled the medicinal soup all over the floor and was slumped on the ground, muttering to herself. How is this possible? How could this be? I asked Momo what had happened. Momo said, the old madame was perfectly fine when she got up early, but after drinking concubine Lu's medicine, she suddenly took a turn for the worse. You are talking nonsense. My medicine is just a warming tonic. There is nothing wrong with it at all. Lu Yi was not happy hearing the accusation. I naturally knew it had nothing to do with Lu Yi. It was just that the old madam's time had come, but she wasn't entirely innocent either. Imperial Physician Li hadn't arrived yet, but Shen Xingji came. The old madam breathed her last just as we entered the room. Although Shen Xingji had lost his memory, she was his own mother after all, so he was grieving terribly. He cried for a while. Then, seeing that I had Lu Yi detained there, he asked me what was going on. The old madam took Lu Yi's medicine and suddenly couldn't make it. Naturally, I have to find out exactly what happened. Shen Xingji pointed at my nose and cursed. What does this have to do with Yi? The murderer is obviously you. You just want to control the Marquis Manor all by yourself, so you harmed my mother. I swatted his hand away and said impatiently, You just shut up. I took care of your mother for years, and she was fine. How come she is gone after your Yi took care of her for only half a month? As for who the murderer is, anyone with eyes can see it. Shen Xingji still wanted to take Lu Yi away, but I had my people detain her, waiting until Imperial Physician Li arrived. Imperial Physician Li arrived very quickly. I took the prescriptions. Lu Yi usually wrote for the old madam, as well as the medicinal dregs, and gave them all to Imperial Physician Li. Imperial Physician Li, do you see any problems here? He said that although Lu Yi's prescription wasn't poisonous, It was too potent a tonic, and completely unsuitable for the old madam. The old madam's illness requires slow recuperation and gentle nourishment. This prescription is too aggressive. Everyone turned their gaze toward Lu Yiyi, and the look in Shen Xingji's eyes when he looked at her changed as well. I just... Lu Yiyi wanted to explain. But with the old madam's corpse still right there, she trembled and didn't dare speak further. I knew why Lu Yiyi did this. She just wanted the old madam to get better as soon as possible, so that she could successfully return to the Marquis Manor. It is just that I didn't expect the old madam's body to be unable to handle the potency of this medicine anymore. Moreover, this medicine isn't right either. Dr. Li pinched the herbal dregs, smelling them again and again. The prescription lists red ginseng, but these dregs contain low-grade Cotinopsis. Although the medicinal effects of the two are similar, the price difference is dozens of times over. I had Zissou bring out all the medicinal dregs from after Lu Yiyi arrived, for Imperial Physician Li to verify one by one. Top, quality deer antler velvet changed to ox horn. Northern red ginseng changed to low-grade Cotinopsis. The price difference here is already 500 taels. With the evidence irrefutable, I pretended to look surprised. Heavens, Lu Yiyi! You actually profited from the old madam's medicine. The old madam usually gives you plenty of money, yet you treat her like this. Who was it that swore solemnly back then to never have anything to do with the Marquise's manor? I didn't expect you to be coveting even this bit of medicine money. Everyone understood what had happened too, and started whispering among themselves. Shen Xingji's face turned white, then red, then white. He looked at Lu Yiyi in disbelief. Yiyi, did you really do this? Lu Yi's face was ashen, but she remained stubborn. The effects of these medicines are all the same. There is no difference. Imperial Physician Li, however, did not agree. We healers practice medicine with benevolence as the priority. The authenticity and quality of herbs directly concern the efficacy, and even life itself. How can you say, there is no difference? The old madam was already too weak to handle tonics. Using potent medicine was already inappropriate. Yet you even passed off inferior goods as superior. Such conduct not only violates medical ethics but borders on murder for profit. Imperial Physician Li's words were forceful and resounding. Lu Yiyi's face completely lost its color, and she slumped to the ground. Shen Xingji looked at her, the tenderness of the past gone, leaving only disappointment and indignation. He opened his mouth, wanting to say something, but couldn't spit out a single word. I watched this farce coldly. No, it is not over yet. I asked Imperial Physician Li to check Shen Xingji's pulse. Sorry to trouble you, Imperial Physician Li. Could you see why the young Marquis has never recovered his memory? Shen Xingji was puzzled. Yeah, Jia, what do you mean? But I forced him to sit down. Imperial Physician Li thought for a moment and said, the young Marquis is young and strong. Logically, he should have recovered long ago. It must be because he has been taking medicine to suppress his memory that it is like this. As soon as these words came out, anyone with a brain understood whose handiwork Shen Xingji's memory loss was. Shen Xingji slumped to the ground, looking at Lu Yiyi in disbelief. No wonder you personally brewed calming soup for me every day. Lu Yiyi, how could you do this to me? In my past life, when I asked the imperial physician to restore Shen Xingji's memory, I knew then that Lu Yiyi had drugged him, but not long after, Lu Yiyi took poison and committed suicide, so I didn't bring this matter up. Now that the whole truth is laid out before Shen Xingji, I am very curious if he can still love Lu Yiyi so much that he cannot extricate himself, just like in the past life. I squat down, pinch Shen Xingji's chin, and force him to look up at me. Shen Xingji, is this the love you abandoned everything for? You are such a joke. Imperial physician Li administered acupuncture and prescribed medicine for Shen Xingji, saying his memory would return in as little as half a month, or at most a month. I locked him and Lu Yiyi up together, waiting to watch dog eat dog. After old Madame Shen's funeral ended, the guard sent word that Shen Xingji wanted to see me. Yejia, I've recovered my memory for these past years. I am really sorry. Shen Xingji had a look of shame on his face. Don't speak. I cut off his sentimentality. There is nothing to be sorry for. Even if you lost your memory after you and Lu Yiyi came to the capital, I don't believe you didn't hear others talking about our past. It is you who has no backbone. You were running away. You were just afraid His Majesty would blame you for losing the battle. Afraid people would point fingers at you for abandoning your childhood sweetheart to keep a mistress, and worried you couldn't shoulder the heavy burden of the Marquis Manor. So you just used the memory loss as an excuse to hide away outside and live your life, dumping the mess of the Marquis Manor on me alone. Shen Xingji's face looked worse and worse. His inner thoughts were completely laid bare by me, and his eyes started to dodge mine. Shen Xingji, since you want to be a turtle hiding in its shell, then keep being one. If you really feel sorry, then just like before, be a coward and stay invisible, and leave the Marquis Manor to me. I don't want to hear another word from you. Don't dirty my ears. After saying that, I flung my hand and left, ordering the guards to lock the door and not let the two of them out. Shen Xingji and Lu Yiyi went from love to hate, loathing each other to the extreme. Before long, they started arguing and hurling abuse, even getting physical. By the time the guards realized something was wrong, both were lying in a pool of blood. Shen Xingji had slashed one of Lu Yiyi's eyes, and Lu Yiyi had severed his hamstrings. Shen Xingji cursed loudly. You bitch! You bitch! He actually still wanted me to help him kick Lu Yiyi out. Of course, I wouldn't grant his wish. Since the Marquise has hurt his leg and has trouble walking, naturally we must have concubine Lu take good care of him. Then, ignoring Shen Xingji's objections, I took Lu Yiyi in as his concubine. On the day she was taken in as a concubine, a cup of safflower tea ensured Lu Yiyi would never be able to bear children. Afterward, I had the two of them locked in the courtyard, forbidding them from taking a single step outside. Didn't you say it was love? Then go ahead and love each other properly. For the rest of your lives, you two can stay in the courtyard, loving and killing each other until the day you die.